we had a student who was like outwardly saying specific, detailed threats. It was me and a co-teacher. I taught English and social studies. She taught math and science. During one of her periods, this kid was saying just crazy stuff. She went to the administrator. They had their own like separate conversation. I didn't know a thing. No parent had been reached out to. Then he came back into my room with his class, so he said some stuff to me. I immediately called home. I immediately talked to all the other teachers. I found out that this had been a problem that had been happening for a while, and my admin had chosen to not tell me. So I called home. My admin got mad at me for making that call because she wasn't in the room with me. I'm like, okay, well, you could have done it the first time that this happened, where it's like, you're making me feel bad that I took action? In what world is that not the right choice? You don't know what that kid was going to do the next day. And I don't think any of my students are bad people, but we all go through things. We all have things going on. We all have situations and triggers. You don't know what the kid could do, but at least let's take step one, and at least let's get everyone on the same page. I had one class that had this couple in it. It was annoying when they were together, and it was annoying after they broke up. I'm very much like a sit where you want, but if you can't work, I'm going to move you. And it was her and her boyfriend, and then two other random people, their friends. I was like doing something on the board, and I turn around, and she was on his lap. And I look at her, and I'm like, get in your friggin' seat. Like, what are you doing? Then they broke up. And holy end of the world. They decided to take like a month off of school after. And then when they came back, they moved seats to be on the furthest edge. And then the problem was each of these two kids was like pretty well known. They had a bunch of friends in the class. So then they had to divide the class. So it looked like a middle school dance where it's like all the girls on one side, all the boys on the other. And that's a problem because they're all insane. They are like actively hating each other because now they're on two different sides of this like ridiculous drama. It just like kind of simmered. But in the beginning, I thought I was going to see like a battle happening in my class, like Braveheart. There was one shirt that a kid wore, not playing around. It said, I heart MILFs.
Did he know what it stood for?
Yes, he knew what it stood for.
Because sometimes, no, listen, I had a kid.
But you're little, though.
You teach third grade.
But they know what they're doing.
Sometimes they don't, though.
But sometimes they don't. In this particular instance, she definitely did not. She came to school.
Bless her heart.
And, you know, they got to take their water bottles out of their book bags.
Uh-huh.
And I kid you not, she took a flask out of her book bag. And it was her water bottle. Does it hold liquid? Yes. Could it hold water? Absolutely. Is that the purpose?
The way I would have fell out.
No, this third
We
grader.
were like,
Is that a flask?
This third grader showing up to class like he just got fired from his job.
we were like,
I worked here for 20 years, man.
we don't bring that one back. We don't bring that one back. Yeah.
We had a student who was like outwardly saying specific, detailed threats. It was me and a co-teacher. I taught English and social studies. She taught math and science. During one of her periods, this kid was saying just crazy stuff. She went to the administrator. They had their own like separate conversation. I didn't know a thing. No parent had been reached out to. Then he came back into my room with his class, so he said some stuff to me. I immediately called home. I immediately talked to all the other teachers. I found out that this had been a problem that had been happening for a while, and my admin had chosen to not tell me. So I called home. My admin got mad at me for making that call because she wasn't in the room with me. I'm like, okay, well, you could have done it the first time that this happened, where it's like, you're making me feel bad that I took action? In what world is that not the right choice? You don't know what that kid was going to do the next day. And I don't think any of my students are bad people, but we all go through things. We all have things going on. We all have situations and triggers. You don't know what the kid could do, but at least let's take step one, and at least let's get everyone on the same page.
The number one thing that irritates me as a teacher is that people think we get paid over the summer. It drives me insane. I'm like, listen, I literally don't do math, but we get paid for 180 days. Right. We do not get paid for the time that we don't work. So we spread our paycheck out over 12 months. The amount of times that we've had to explain that to people, and then them saying like, oh, well, you shouldn't complain because you get summers off.
Well, and not every school district even pays throughout the summer. It's your job to have a savings account and to save X amount of dollars from each paycheck or pick up a summer job, whatever your preference is. I taught at a school where first few years of teaching there, we got 20 paychecks throughout the school year. And then summer, you didn't get any paycheck. So you'd either have to put it in savings or some kind of account. I worked at a sports bar my first 7 years of teaching.
Yeah. And it's a lot of teachers that have second jobs. Like one of the teachers at my school, when they leave school, they go to work from like 5 to 10.
In Missouri, there has been a bill sponsored and put forth for a vote that if a teacher uses a trans kid's pronouns, their preferred pronouns, they will be charged with a felony and placed on the National Offenders Registry as a level 1 most severe sex offender. If the kid says, I prefer he, him, I prefer she, her, and you actually use that, felony sex offender. Those found guilty under House Bill 2885 would be subject to a $10,000 fine, imprisonment, placement on the state's sex offender registry as a tier 1 sex offender, and obviously since offenders are not allowed to reside within 500 feet of a school or daycare, they would end the teacher's career.
That is the most ignorant thing I've heard in a long time.
We had a student who was like outwardly saying specific detailed threats. It was me and a co-teacher. I taught English and social studies. She taught math and science. During one of her periods, this kid was saying just crazy stuff. She went to the administrator. They had their own like separate conversation. I didn't know a thing. No parent had been reached out to. Then he came back into my room with his class, so he said some stuff to me. I immediately called home. I immediately talked to all the other teachers. I found out that this had been a problem that had been happening for a while, and my admin had chosen to not tell me. So I called home. My admin got mad at me for making that call because she wasn't in the room with me. I'm like, okay, well, you could have done it the first time that this happened, where it's like, you're making me feel bad that I took action? In what world is that not the right choice? You don't know what that kid was going to do the next day. And I don't think any of my students are bad people, but we all go through things. We all have things going on. We all have situations and triggers. You don't know what the kid could do, but at least let's take step 1 and at least let's get everyone on the same page.
One of my kids asked me why, because I write under my document camera a lot, he asked me why I always stop at the red line on the paper when I stop it.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. At first I was finna laugh and I was like, nah, I think that was a genuine question. Like, I said, you don't know about like the margins on the paper? Like, that's why y'all be writing on
Well, we do proof sheets. Like anytime we do math problems, like they gotta show their work, obviously.
Yeah.
So there was 5 questions. I said, okay, y'all, like we're gonna fold this paper. We got 5 questions. So I told them fold it in half again. So you got 4 boxes on the front,
right,
but numbered 1 through 5. Where's the 5th box? I said, babe, flip the paper over. Yes. There's 4 more boxes of paper.
Yeah.
I said, flip it over.
I hate when teachers throw kids' food away. Can't stand it. I have seen people throw kids' food away, and I'm like, you wrong for that.
Tell them to put away.
Either they mama bought that, or don't throw their stuff away. I don't care if they had 10 bags of chips. Don't throw their stuff away, man.
Yeah, you don't know what their home situation is at home.
And even if you do, don't throw their stuff away. If somebody throw my chips away, we squaring up. If my principal say put them chips up, and I don't put them up, and she like, well, give them to me until we get done, since you ain't gonna put them up. Say less. But if you take my chips and walk over there and throw them in the trash can, and you didn't bring no Chick-fil-A biscuits in here this morning with no coffee, and we had to be here up before Jesus, I'm gonna get a little testy. Some of the craziest things students have said, kids like, my dad said I don't have to respect you because I don't have to listen to a woman. Well, your dad's a jerk, and I hope he's divorced and single and has to pay alimony.
There's nothing better than hearing a parent's opinion about a teacher through a kid because you know they're talking at home. There's so many instances. There was one that was like, a student was like, I don't know, my mom just said that you look lonely. There was one where it was like, Miss whatever, my mom said you're never going to find a man.
Well, your mom would know. She's got 6 men. Tell her to mind her business and pick one. Respectfully, my old school, you could not leave for lunch. There was a teacher, this man left every day. And nobody knew that he left for lunch every day. The way that they figured out that he was leaving was because he took up a student's phone and then he left the school with the kid's phone in his pocket. The kid's mom called the school and said, my child is not at school. She is down the street at the gas station. And so the principal was like, I'm going to look into it. And so he went into class and he was like, no, she's in class. The mom was like, where's her phone? And so they went to see what class period she was in, the class period before that one. And so they were like, hey, did you take up a student's phone? And he was like, yeah. Did you like leave with it and go to the gas station? And he was like, no. So then he was like, the kid's mom called and it said the phone was at the gas station. Did you? He's like, yeah, I just popped down there to get some pizza real quick. And so then the principal goes, well, do you leave for lunch every day? Right. He was like, yeah.
That was the time you want to tell the truth?
Because I've been teaching for 6 years, and I feel like I've been teaching for 55. I'm tired. As far as tiredness, I feel like 55. As far as knowing what to do, this my first year.
so hard as a third-year teacher, and they're like, "You've been here for 10 years. Like, stop."
You ever have a teacher come up to you? They're like, "I've been teaching for 15 years," and you're like, "Oh, did you start when you were 40?" And they're like, "No, I right out of college." What?
Let me tell you something. Teaching will age you. That math don't be mathing. I feel 112 years old. And they're like, it's the 100th day of school. I feel 100 years old. There's a school that they will take substitute teachers' keys at the beginning of the school day so that if the kids piss them off, they can't leave. I'm like, I'm pretty sure that don't sound legal. I don't believe everything that I read on the internet, but people were commenting saying, no, that's a thing. Because some subs will just get up and leave in the middle of the day. And I don't blame them.
Been there.
I don't blame them at all. Do you hear me?
You have to have a list of like quick games that you can play.
What's your go-to?
Animal sounds, where I would have a bunch of animals in a hat, and there was 2 of every animal, and they would each pick one, and they would all spread across the room. You would have to make the sound of that animal and find your match.
I am adding this. Oh my gosh, that is so fun because they already like to make animal noises.
The other one we always played was counting to 20.
Oh, I know this one.
So you would have to randomly get your class to count to the number 20. So if I say 1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6,
7, so then we would have to go back.
We need to do it now. Because I'm not going to be able to leave or sleep tonight if we don't get to 20. So let's do it on round 2. 1,
2, 3,
4. Bree!
My first year teaching was, I came in the middle of the school year as a long-term sub, and my kids had hit their teacher in the face with a stapler, and she walked out. It was her first year teaching, and she quit at the beginning of October. So she made it August, September. She quit at the beginning of October. In August, somebody got to fighting. She tried to break it up. They pushed her into the Promethean board, broke the board. And then in September, somebody threw a stapler across the room and hit her in the face. And so she didn't come back. And I'm like, I can't blame you. But the first conversation that I had when I got, don't throw nothing across this room. Because the teacher y'all had ain't the teacher you got right now. Nothing better not hit me in the face. That wasn't even me. I didn't ask. The first person to say that wasn't me. It was you. Yeah. Because there was no reason for you to say that wasn't even me. Because I don't know y'all. We just met. Yeah. I'm just telling you off the rip. That was foul. Y'all done broke the Promethean board. You done hit your teacher in the face with a stapler. She was babyface first year teacher. Straight out of college.
I went full teacher mode. I was walking through Epcot, coming by the big ball. I look over just at the right time, and there is a guy, and he's with his 2 kids, very mad. This dad is very mad, and he pulls back his hand, and he smacks his daughter. And I'm talking hard. I was shocked. When I saw it, I froze for just a second. And it took me a minute. I was processing it. No reaction from mom. No, calm down,
that
honey.
That means he
no
does
nothing.
that all the time then.
Well, that's the thing. As I'm sitting there reacting to it, he does it again.
What?
And when I'm talking like hard, this is, I mean, I would have been like in tears if somebody hit me this hard. And this is a little 8-year-old girl. I took one more step, and in my mind, I go, that's not right. And I turned around, and I walked right up to him, and I said, hold on, buddy. What you just did is illegal.
Yes, it is.
It is wrong. I said, and I got in his face. I mean, I'm talking, I was at the ball. If you're in Mexico, you're like, who is so mad over there? Who is that?
And does he want a fiestada?
Yeah, and they got full mariachi band, and they're still like, I still hear something. This man at first gritted his teeth, and I think he wanted to fight me. But he realized I'm 6'6". And that is not a fight you want to take on right now in Epcot. The first thing I said, I'm a teacher. I said, I have been a teacher. I said, if I ever saw something like that happen at my school, or I heard about it, or if I saw, a little girl come up to me and tell me that happened, I said, you're in jail, buddy. Yes. I said, you are in jail. Yes. I said, I'm reporting it every time. I don't even second guess it. I said, what you just did is absolutely wrong.